Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be giving Ohio an empire, so of course we did Texas, California. Next up is the meme state itself, Ohio. So for this one they are actually surrounded by some most likely enemies such as Michigan, possibly Pennsylvania, and a few other countries that would want to go to war. So we're going to be assuming a few things to give Ohio the advantage here and to allow them to make a very, very powerful empire. To begin with though, they declare war on West Virginia. And, well, yeah, Ohio versus West Virginia isn't going to go well for the country/state. I still haven't decided. We're going to be calling them countries here, but in real life, once again, you can't know exactly what's going to happen, as this isn't real life. These aren't countries, these are states. With that, though, Ohio continues their rampage, as obviously, as we all know, in real life, Ohio is probably going to take over the world. This is just how the Ohio Empire begins. With that, they push into Indiana, capturing the Great Lakes. The area of Indiana that borders the Great Lakes. After pushing it a bit more, the newly formed country surrenders and is also annexed by Ohio to expand their influence and strength as much as possible. With that, Ohio is now a very powerful new country, and they decide to expand that power by declaring war on Kentucky. Once again, not going to be too difficult for them. They just push down into the country, Kentucky surrenders, and just like all of their previous annexed countries, Kentucky is fully annexed and incorporated into Ohio. Why have they been building up this much and expanding this much? It's because it is time for the Ohioans to finally take over Michigan. And here, of course, this is the big fight, Ohio versus Michigan. In real life, it's one of the only rivalries I know would be in this world. With that, Ohio troops instantly begin to push across the border, as even just looking at this map, in real life, I'm pretty sure Ohio's a bit more powerful than Michigan. Not by much, but by a bit. Honestly, though, with all the issues there, we can never know what is going on in this state. As anyone who goes there, yeah, you might not want to risk it. But with that, Ohio continues to push up into Michigan along the Great Lake coasts until they near the city of Detroit. And although Michigan attempts to push back around the city, Ohio does continue to make progress. The battle happens, and Detroit is captured. With that, they begin to push for other large Michigan cities, capture the newly found capital, and pretty much, well, most important cities. Obviously, there's the Upper Peninsula, but mostly just like forests up here. If I'm missing a city, I'm sure someone's going to get mad at me for saying that, but a lot of the important cities are more in southern Michigan. With that, they push up, cut the country into two, then cut the country into three. And after beginning to increase the speed of their invasion, Michigan, although fighting as much as they can, are forced into surrendering to Ohio. With that, hey, it sounds wrong, but Michigan is the first country Ohio doesn't fully annex. As the Upper Peninsula is left, Wisconsin might go and grab that soon, but for this video, we're focusing on Ohio, not Wisconsin, so that's not going to be happening. With that, though, Ohio is now a very powerful country. Over here in the central, more in the east central. But the next war is going to be another war. You'd think it's pretty difficult because Illinois is a pretty powerful country, well, state. But honestly, you capture over here, oh my god, how did I forget? Chicago. You capture Chicago, and that's like 2/3 of Illinois' population, infrastructure, and economy already gone. With that, you can push around and capture Springfield, and there's another like 1/10 of it. So yeah, Illinois might look strong on paper, but in real life, they just have a few major cities, and once that's captured, pretty much just Chicago. Illinois is more of a rural state, except for the few big cities. With that, the newly formed country surrenders, and wow, Ohio's just expanding where they want to expand and doing what they want to do. They are arguably the most powerful newly found country, maybe still behind California and Texas. California. But they could very well be the most powerful by now, and that's really going to show as they still don't have coastal access, which isn't going to change just yet. But they do declare war on Wisconsin, who honestly, at this point, seeing the death of every country surrounding them, wouldn't want to fight Ohio. So they just surrender a bit of land, which, yes, includes Milwaukee. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But that's probably going to be Wisconsin's capital in this world. And it's given over to Ohio, as Wisconsin's options here were die and lose more land, or give up some important land but continue to survive as a living thing. Once again, would probably lead them to take the newly formed just Michigan, no Upper and Lower Peninsula, but once again, centered on Ohio, no other events going to be happening. With this new land grab, Ohio continues their rampage into central North America, I guess, yeah. Central U.S., with Iowa and Missouri being their next targets. Both of them do about the same thing as Wisconsin did. After Ohio pushes in a small amount, they just agree to some Ohioan peace terms and leave the war. So yeah, it could be semi-damaging to them, but honestly, they'll survive. They will end up surviving. Also, let me know any other states you want to see. Currently, I have a few in stockpile. I have like 2 more of these, should be coming out tomorrow, but anyone's will most likely be done. Now with the end of their war over here in more of the central old US states, they're gonna go for the coast. As it's a pretty, also why is there a line there? Just something bad with the map, same thing there. Or maybe that actually is an island. No idea, it looks very random though. That declaration of war is gonna be on Virginia, and they instantly begin to push across the border. I'm guessing their present-day capital is still Richmond from back in the American Civil War. That's where I know it from. I'm guessing it is, and with that it's captured. The country is split into 2, and they finally reach the Atlantic Ocean. So Ohio became most likely the most powerful country in the old US states, and still hadn't reached the ocean. But now that they have, Virginia surrenders, and is, like most countries that Ohio has attacked at this point, completely annexed. With that, Ohio's goal here is just to be looked upon as a global power, and this is going very well as they declare war on Maryland. Also, Virginia has a tiny bit of this peninsula over here. Don't know why it isn't colored in. That's just how this map is. With that, they also declare war on DC and Delaware. Their first time declaring war on multiple countries at once, but all pretty weak. Something that they most likely didn't see is Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire joining in, along with Tennessee. Yeah, this is the anti-Ohioan pact, pretty much. It's gonna be Ohio's most difficult challenge yet, yes. Difficult, maybe a bit, but for this country, nope. With that, they begin to storm into Maryland, capturing Washington, D.C., and begin to push into the, I said it wrong last time, somebody commented, but I still haven't fixed it, Delmarva, I think, Peninsula, yeah, and begin to push into New Jersey, which is very densely populated. It looks tiny, but, you know, Wyoming, it looks decently sized, 500K. This little New Jersey is incredibly densely populated. With that, they push back a bit, but over here in Pennsylvania, it is not going as well, as Ohio is quickly pushing in. Basically, some plans that were leaked later on showed that they were planning to invade Pennsylvania right after this war, so they already had a lot of troops ready to invade. As for Tennessee, they have troops on all their borders, so they push in a bit, but that's going to be for later. For now, Pennsylvania is split into 2. The part closer to the Great Lakes is captured, and yeah, Pennsylvania surrenders. With that, the push into New Jersey is slow, but it does happen as New Jersey also surrenders. With that, they dedicate a lot of troops down to Tennessee, capturing Nashville. And with the fall of Tennessee, honestly, Massachusetts and whatnot. There's no point in saying this war. They're not going to lose any land if they lose, and they're not going to win any land if they win. There's absolutely no point to join in, so they just don't join in, they leave. As for all of these countries, well, believe it or not, guess what happens? They're all annexed by Ohio. Same thing for Tennessee. Yeah, Ohio here, really just growing, but this is the meme state, so they deserve the most powerful empire I've given out yet. Yeah, but everyone should know Ohio deserves the most powerful empire I've ever given anyone, just solely for the fact that they're Ohio. And everyone knows that everything is down in Ohio. With that though, all of these other newly found countries are next, leading to Ohio officially being seen as the most powerful new country in North America. Very good for them. On a world stage, they're seen as a minor power. No, actually just as a power, not minor, along the likes of countries like Germany, France, and the UK. So yeah, they have pretty good global influence. With that, they're just gonna have pretty much 2 more wars. One of those is on North and South Carolina, but like most countries here, they accept Ohio in peace terms. Honestly, I don't know why any country wouldn't. It just means you don't die, I get some land. Pretty good deal. As for this peace treaty, they just take a small amount of South Carolina and a good amount of the coast of the North. In real life, they'd probably be forced into uniting, but here, Ohio's video, so the focus stays on them and no other events will be happening. Although I'm guessing if this did happen, it would probably be caused by civil war or just a complete breakup, which would lead to continued fighting and a lot of weakened countries. With that though, Ohio's final and last war is going to be to prove their influence as the most powerful country in North America, and how they're going to do that, well, with a big old declaration of war on Canada. Probably their most difficult yet. I'd say that's their hardest yet. Ohio, they're just not gonna be too difficult. They make a landing, capture Toronto, push up, Montreal and Ottawa both fall. And this is already probably over half of all of Canada's population. Obviously this map isn't all of Canada, but a lot of it, I'm pretty sure over 60, 70, 80% of Canada's population is below the, not counting Alaska, most northern point of the US, which is right there. So yeah, also counting in this direction, 70% of Canada's population. This is going very well as they continue to push into these populated parts all along the Great Lakes and in southern Canada. With that, this is already about 60% of Canada's population gone, if I had to guess, with the fall of Quebec City and a few other important Canadian cities, along with the push into New Brunswick. Canada surrenders, and yeah, Ohio's now officially seen as a global power. Not super, but power. So yeah, that's all Ohio wanted. They're no longer memed by any of the states surrounding them, as they are all in grave danger, and Ohio could defeat pretty much anyone here if they wanted to. They just don't, because this video is long enough, and I gotta get it out. With that, they take a good portion of Canada's population, as Ohio doesn't care what it does to the country. They just want the land. With this final war over with, we can finally see this new and great Ohioan empire, which the entire world fears, as no one knows what happens here, how they did this. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time.